Hello everyone, my name is Jainer Jair Gutierrez Perdomo. I'm taking part in this task file for Advanced English 1. We are the goal number 3. So for today, we are going to talk about a topic that is a problem worldwide. Is violence a worldwide problem? Remember that although we live in different countries, and there are many laws in our countries, and many people suffer different problems. We had so some laws, we had some rights that had to build defense for the government. It's very important for people now that violence is a problem over the world, and it's important to know that we have to defend our rights. We have to build to have a good health, physical, um, physical health and mental health is very important for everybody in the world. For this reason, in this conference, we are going to talk about many topics that affect our world, that affect many people, that affect women, affect child, affect men over the world. We have some speaker here, and let's start with Michael Cepeda that is going to talk about impact on social and sexual violence on people around the world. Michael, we listen to you.
Yes, thank you. Here, my name is Michael Cepeda, and this opportunity to talk about the impact of social violence in people around the world. This is a complex issue that affects humans since centuries, no matter sex, ethnicity, or skin color. I consider that cultures patterns related with beliefs and laws protect socially privileged sectors. As part of factor that incidents direct and indirectly it keeps on behaviors that harm and affect the correct human development, where even is more important the cash than human life. Around the world exists many cases that affect this problematic. For instance, in Hollywood, the percentage of woman, the black woman in law in relation with the white woman, what represents discrimination. The discrimination is a key of violence. In 2015, Viola Davis became in the first black artist to win the Emmy Award to the Best Actress Drama. She said that in that ceremony, the only thing that separates women of color to the anyone else are the opportunities, and the lack of opportunities is a key of social violence, mainly in the cinematographic field. Now, change our perspective, but we are go too far. In India, women are subdued in all aspects and ways for many reasons. But the most relevant thing is that for some Indian men, women are less than them and even than a cow. Sugar Ghosh has been formulating a commercial as a sign from protest in order to call attention to endemic misogyny that depicts the disfigured cultural life in India, where authorities, says, are more likely to punish the mistreatment of a cow than the abuse of a woman or a girl. But some only want to stand out or have the last word and say social violence is not only the social. Everybody showing up about. Think about those people who have been subdued to violence in different ways is to think about this future. Now, as a survivors, they need psychological support and economic help. And since the incorporation in the society is slow, and without the opportunities, is afraid, is frustrated by all of them, placing the social and sexual violence in a lazier context. Around the world, people are unable to denounce an abuse or rape because our society is not able to give enough importance to those abused people. Therefore, could be possible think that almost all of them or all of us are indolent and oblivious to the problem and denounce. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Michael. And another problem that had is that many people keep silent and don't like to know this problem. So let's continue with Gloria, that is going to share with us some participation in a struggle against sexual violence.
Thank you, teacher. Hello, everybody. My name is Gloria Vallarino. It's a pleasure to be here. And I am going to talk about participation and struggle against sexual violence. Let's start. Considering the work of this kind of support groups, in this particular case, Me Too movement, is very valuable. But even more so, the work of its founders. Tarana Burke is a brave woman showing a story of resilience, live lessons from her own experience. It is absurd but real that in 21st century we are still talking about scourges as sexual violence that still torture our society. But then, sadder than that is the indifference, or worse still, the fact of not giving the value to the testimonies of victims, or making them revive their tragedies over and over again. Regardless our beliefs, race, culture, socioeconomic level, among others characteristics that define multicultural existing in human beings, we all have the right to have our rights respected. As Tarana Burke mentions, we need to re-educate ourselves and our children. We need to fight against the abuse of power. We have to understand that power doesn't mean permission to violate the rights of others. Thinking only in my rights, only my rights are worth. But rather, as she mentions, the power must be used to serve others. Sexual violence is just one of many types of human rights violation that happen day after day. But remember, sexual violence is a big monster. It does not matter if you are a woman or a child, or you are black or white, tall or short. The only thing that matters is that its victims are vulnerable to attack them in an unequal power relationship, of course. Tarana said something like, in my opinion, she's right, we need to raise our voices and say no more, but we have to be all of us and shout very loudly so that our voices are heard, the laws are modified if it is necessary, and therefore the aggressors are the ones who are afraid. An analogy to express the meaning of this kind of movements could be if we as teachers feel great satisfaction when we contribute something to the well-being of our students, then I assure you, there is a great satisfaction when we can help vulnerable people to relieve their pain and showing them that they can heal. This is a powerful reason why this type of humanitarian work is worthwhile. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Gloria, so thank you so much for your participation. And really, it's very good how you say about it. So let's continue. And we are going to explain why do victims keep silent of sexual violence. It's very important to know. So, Tito.
Hello, everybody. Good day for you. I am Tito Julio Gonzalez. Today, I want to talk about the sexual violence victims who keep silence. Sexual violence present all world. A lot of the societies and a lot of people have a big secret problem denominated sexual violence. But the main problems for all of the victims who have to keep silence by a lot of years. Two people saw on this problem one opportunity to denounce their aggressors. In this way, more of the social movements as Me Too by Tarana Burke in 2006 or hashtag Me Too by Elisa Milano in the United States or movements as hashtag Ropa Sucia or hashtag Mi Primer Acoso in Mexico as well. In Colombia, there are one movement denominated No es hora de callar, created in 2010 with the objective to denounce sexual violence and the way to demand them to be repaired. This movement was developed by Jeanette Bedoya, who was sexually abused while she developing work as a junior journalist. These movements have some advantage, but for the victims of violence, especially focus on sexual violence, because this movement making people less afraid and denounce act developed against them. These movements can accompany economical, legal, and safe why these victims. These movements have high social impact and victims with opportunity to be heard there. People remember the right to the freedom to express the citizenship, equity, and equality, and that we live in a state of right. Thanks to these movements, victims of violence have too many personal problems, silence, stigma, cultural violence, vulnerability, mental health problems, and loss of quality of life. Also, they have some condition of suffering. They have a fright of the aggressors because some they have too much social power. Victims also have embarrassment to tell these acts because society usually blames them of these events. Other factors to keep silence, resetting the people belief can solve this problem alone them. In other case, victims don't have much education and they haven't the idea that they are victims. The other side, a lot of victims keep silent because having economic resource to start the judicial process. Now, talking about social movements created around the world, invite victims to report these human rights violations, especially sexual violence, and put in evidence the crimes of some personalities. But there are too many problems with these movements, such as economic problems, because some people around the world thinking that who report these crimes are influenced by power sector with ideas to create damage in the image of the personalities. Political problems. Today, the politicians, as you use all ways to create damage on their contradictors, include when someone has the best opinion in the public life. They have created a fright and terror because they felt untouchable. Mass media problems. Anything news important people use these movements to make an image, collect money, making political campaign, or cover other events. And a lot of within is true media are according to the political establishment. Social problems. Also, The society around the world try to silence people who denounce crimes and acts that involve personalities because they hate to be involved in social scandals. Thank you.
Okay, Tito, so thank you so much for your participation. So let's know some laws that protect us and some laws that led us to build well. So please, Oscar.
Hello, everybody. My name is Oscar Dario Arias. I'm more than happy to be here in this talk. And now I'm gonna talk about the law that has been created for protect a human right. So we tackle two crucial words in this talk: law and human right. Due to everybody know the meaning of a statement, or simply because they are pretty popular. But I will be honest saying that, unfortunately, many people are used to breaching them. Now, human rights are mentioned around the world as a basic rights and freedoms to which all human rights are entitled, like civil and political rights, the right to life and the liberty, freedom of thought or speech or expression, equality before the law, social, cultural, and economic rights, the right to food, the right to work, the right to education. Human rights law has been defined by international convention, by treaties, and by organization, particularly the United Nations. These laws prohibit practice such as torture, slavery, summary education with trial, arbitrary detentions, and our central topic, sexual violence. Most governments has created their own law to struggle against social inequality and sexual violence. But not only the government are dedicated resources and budget to protect the law, but also many activist groups as well. These organizations promote different activities every year, such as marches, strikes, to eliminate the social discrimination. Even now, many countries foster commemorate various international days. Among them, you can find the International Women's Day. So women's rights over the past 20 years has led the massive gains, but the discrimination, gender-based violence, and the neglect keep many women and girls from enjoying their full rights. Me Too is a real example of the movement that has also been fighting abuses, harassment, and sexual violence. So on the other hand, as far as I'm concerned, there are some countries where the laws are pretty flexible and manipulate them, making the laws can be repealed, allow the rapist, violence, and killer to escape persecution of going to prison. Imagine in my original country, in Colombia, is the worst serial killer in history. Infamous Colombian man called the Beast, Garavito. The Colombian justice system, maximum penalty was only 30 years old. Leads to possibility that Garavito could be out of the jail in months. In the same way, there are many events and cases where the law implementation has been weak. It is terrible. Finally, I think that many factors contribute to violence, not only women, but also beings human in general. Perhaps the governments might be working to avoid these eventual problems, but they still have some changes, and the creation of new laws and introducing legal reforms to protect everybody and access to basic rights and survive in harmony. Thank you so much.
Okay, Oscar, so thank you so much. As we hear everybody, So we recommend you that if you are suffering some kind of problem, you hard to denounce. Please don't keep silent. You need to look for support because the laws have to protect you. So if you have a conclusion about all what we say, you can say no.
Yeah, I want to give some conclusion about. I think that it is extensive problem to present a specific conclusion about, and maybe this word not represent everything what sexual and social violence has caused in people abuse. So the only that I can conclude is what our society is not ready to face this trouble and prevent it, and the responsibility that must have the government now is ours. And if we can stop the violence, at least we should accompany the survivors in the way to overcome the bad times and to build a new life.
Okay, so thank you for those comments. So Gloria, we listen to you about what is your conclusion about this problem.
Okay, Jainer, thank you. In summary, we can say through these support groups or movements, victims of sexual violence can feel support, seeking professional help, receiving orientation for their particular situations, or having access to information about local organizations and laws related with sexual violence. But of all the objectives that these movements may have, the most important is to offer victims a new opportunity to return and continue with their lives. Is the most human thing we can do for victims. It's not a secret, these movements can be stigmatized. Victims can suffer discrimination. A reason why the state policies should protect the victims and regulating these movements in order to avoid mismanagement. Finally, we all know not only the government, but citizens should also become aware that no type of violence is admissible and that our duty is to fight to make it so. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria, for your words. I can conclude on this topic. We are indifferent to the violent situation. We are afraid other people relation us with victims because we don't want to be pointed in public. But it is time where we change our way to think to is corruption, when we keep silent about the human right violation of other people. We could think about the social movements and the use of the social networks and the internet. These tools are benefit many activities, especially activities or movements, to denounce the crimes against people or communities that they haven't an easy way to defend them. Thank you very much.
Okay, so my conclusion.
So, Oscar, we can hear you. Okay, guys, so it's well all for today. Thanks for sharing with us your knowledge, and thank you for sharing your comment. Thank you for sharing all what you know about this topic, this problem. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.
Oh, generous return.
Thank you.
Okay.